Hello everybody, welcome back to another Q&A session. Today we are going to be discussing our impact screens. So our first question on our impact screen, and it's probably one of the most common questions that we get, is what are the differences between your impact materials? We have three different impact screen options: our standard, our preferred, and our premium. So this one is going to be our standard screen. It is a great entry-level product. It'll hold up to shots that you hit into it. It's durable. It'll do a good job. It's an excellent way if you're looking to kind of get your foot in the door with golf simulation. You don't want to spend a ton of money. The standard is going to be the way to go. The next impact screen that we have is our preferred impact material. As you can see, it's also pretty thin. It's very similar to the standard screen, but it's got a much tighter weave to the material, so it's a much smoother projection surface. So you get a pretty big jump in image quality when you step up to the preferred impact material. And then finally, we have our premium screen, which is the top of the line that we offer. This is going to be a little bit thicker material. It's right around 1/8 of an inch thick. It's got a little bit of padding. When you squeeze it, you can feel there's some give to it. With the premium material, you're going to get another boost in image quality. So this is going to be the best image that we offer for our impact screens. That padding is going to help to cut down on the noise from the ball impacting the screen. And then since it is a little thicker, we have noticed that the thinner screens, when you hit into them, you'll really see where that dimple is from the ball impacting the screen. With the premium, I mean, you'll still get that dimple a little bit, but it's just a lot less noticeable with the thicker material. So another question that we get is which screen is the quietest? So I mentioned before with the premium material, since it's a little bit thicker, it is going to help to cut down on the noise from the ball impacting the screen. It is by no means silent when you hit into it. Usually I will compare the different screen materials. The two thinner ones, when you hit into them, it's more like a loud slap when the ball hits the screen. And with the premium, it's more like a kind of a dull thud. But that being said, I think most of the noise comes from your club impacting the ball, especially if you're hitting a driver. You know how loud a driver can be. That's, I think, going to create more noise than the ball actually hitting the screen. So the next question we have is, what are the different finishing styles on your screens? So we have kind of our three standard finishing styles available. Our classic, which is a 2.5 inch wide black vinyl border with grommets. Those grommets are spaced, roughly every 12 inches or so around the screen. We've got our classic with loop finish. So we're talking hook and loop fastener. So the loop is the softer style of the fastener, and there's going to be a 1 inch wide strip of that loop fastener sewn between the grommets and the white viewable portion of the screen. And then we also have our finish with flaps, which is going to, again, have a 2.5 inch wide black vinyl border with grommets. And then where the black vinyl border meets the white viewable portion of the screen, we sew down a 7 inch wide flap. That flap has a strip of loop style fastener sewn to the end of it. And like the way we use it is in our enclosures. We have then a strip of hook fastener sewn to the walls and ceiling of our enclosure that the flaps will attach to. And that just gives a cleaner look to the space, helps to cover up the grommets and framing and everything behind the screen. And a lot of times people will order that if they're looking to do a custom setup and they have a way to secure those flaps down. Again, just to give a cleaner, more professional look to the area. All right, the next question that we've seen coming up lately is, the back of my screen has some notches or cuts in it. Is that normal? And yes, that is normal. That's something that you are going to see on basically every screen that we make here. If you look at the back, if you see loose screen material, you're going to see there's some cuts in that screen, and those cuts don't affect the performance of the screen at all. Your screen is going to be just as durable. The reason those are there is for our sewing team, because we sew all of our screens by hand, and so those cuts just help our team to line up the screens with any other material that they're sewing onto it. Just helps to keep things nice and square, so you are getting a good high quality screen in the end. All right, the next question that we receive is, how do I clean my impact screen? We actually have another video that is dedicated to showing you how to clean your impact screen. We tried several different ways. We found a couple that work well. I think the one that I usually recommend is just using a nice clean white rag with some soapy water on it, and use that to wipe the screen down and see if you're able to get any stains off your screen that way. Otherwise, if you have more of an area you need to try to clean. We also used a handheld carpet shampooer and went over the screen with that, and that did an excellent job. The key thing is, if you're cleaning your screen and it gets wet, you need to make sure to dry it off as quickly as possible. We'll tell people to put some fans on the screen and have it blow across the screen until it's nice and dry, and that's going to minimize your chance of seeing water stains on the screen. So our next question is, how do I get wrinkles out of my screen? Our screens are all cut and sewn to order, so we don't just have them sitting on a shelf somewhere, getting more deep wrinkles into them. We do that so that when you get the screen and unbox it, it'll be the easiest to get the wrinkles out. What we found is that if you use a garment steamer on the screen, if you use it carefully, it will help to remove those wrinkles. And we actually have a video dedicated to showing you how to safely do this with minimizing the chance of damage to your screen. The garment steamer that we found, I think it came from Amazon. It was relatively cheap, and we found that it works well. It comes with a guard that helps to prevent the screen from actually touching the hot surface of the steamer, which will help to minimize the chance of, again, any damage to the screen. And we will also provide a link to that steamer in the description. All right, and our next question is, how do I get the most life out of my screen? So the screens we sell, they are all wearable items, just meaning that kind of by their nature, they're gonna wear out with use. The ways to maximize the lifespan of your screen, there's a few things you can do. First is make sure that you're standing at least 10 feet away from the screen as you're hitting. The closer you are to the screen, the more force that screen is gonna take. Make sure you're using clean clubs and clean golf balls. And you want to make sure that your golf balls do not have cuts in them. If the golf ball has cuts or dirt, that acts like an abrasive on the screen and will wear it down much faster. You also want to make sure that you have at least 12 inches of space between the screen and anything behind it. When you hit into the screen, you want to give it plenty of room to be able to flex backwards. If you hit and the ball goes back and it hits anything behind it, that's going to create kind of a pinch point right there, and that's going to accelerate the wear at that point on the screen. And then it also prevents the impact of that ball from dissipating as well across the entire surface of the screen. So 12 inches of space is definitely important. So that is it for our frequently asked questions for today. If you have any other questions that we didn't address, please let us know in the comments below, and we will see you in the next one.